Okay, that question is noted. Uh, the question is, which is the best salt for us to consume? Because I know we have organic salt, we have synthetic salt, industrial salt. Okay, recently we began to promote organic salt, which is known as sea salt. But before now, people have been eating industrial salt. Well, I want to let you know first that the topic of my talk today is the danger of excess salt. Whether industrial salt or organic salt, you must know the quantity of salt you need in your food. Do you know that the Maggi you add to your food is salt? Yes. That's what we call monosodium glutamate. It's salt. So, but a number of persons still add that Maggi and still add salt. Oh my God, what danger are we doing to ourselves? I have told you today that the daily requirement of salt, that from morning till evening, all the salt you need for your body that will be healthy is 1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of salt for the whole day. But do you know some of us take as much as 3, 4, 5 teaspoons? Because going by the Maggi we put in our food and then the other salt we add to our food, it is excess. But apart from that, organic salt, which is a sea salt, is the best salt to consume. Yes, it's the best salt. But in a situation where you don't have it, no problem, continue with your industrial salt. But if you have the organic salt, go ahead because that is natural salt and is good and is the best. There are people who use a natural salt, they don't go for Maggi again because that natural salt is enough to take care of both your Maggi need and other, sweet and salt need. So if you have the wherewithal to go for organic salt, which is sea salt, go for it. But if you don't have, still have to regulate the intake of the industrial salt available to you. Thank you very much. Okay, let's reconcile. Let me answer that one first, because not in any area to go to. Now the yes, I have to reconcile this. I'm not saying totally there is no spiritual attack, but I do not want us to generalize her challenge and attribute every health challenge to spiritual attack. That is what we are trying to correct, number one. And then number two, pastors should please educate our members to go for medical checks from time to time. Yes, today I was in Ika. I was in church. I was able to tell the pastor was there, many other leaders of the church were there. I told them whenever somebody is sick, the first thing to do is to go to the hospital. Okay, like that one that the person went to the hospital and turned back to the church. Beautiful. It means that it may have been a spiritual matter. Okay, it wouldn't rule out that somebody may be attacked spiritually. Remember a few weeks ago, I talked about where spiritual matter comes in our health challenges. I mentioned causes. I mentioned misbehaviors. I mentioned unruly attitude to the people around you, that this can bring about spiritual attack. So I do not rule out spiritual attack in our health challenges. There are certain circumstances where somebody can be attacked spiritually, but that I want you to know that not all sicknesses are spiritual attack. Well, you're asking whether Maggi, you put like 4 Maggi in your soup. Well, if I have in my own teaching, I don't teach people to eat Maggi, honestly, because Maggi is what I call monosodium glutamate. So you look for salt, try to go for salt and let the salt be, instead of going for Maggi, God has, in Akwa Ibom here, God has blessed us abundantly with crayfish, fish. That is what our fathers used to use and cook, mothers used to cook in those days. Do you know that most states in Nigeria get crayfish and fish from Akwa Ibom State? So how will you be staying here and be eating something that comes from abroad? Why not eat our own natural food? That is salt. I mean, sorry, Maggi. Sorry, not Maggi. Right? Crayfish, yes, crayfish, fish. We have it in abundance. Why must you go for Maggi? Please, I beg you, don't try that again before I report you to your governor that you are not patronizing our local products. Maggi is not healthy for you, my brother. Go for crayfish, go for fish. Thank you. All right, the benefits of salt. Salt has so many benefits in our body system. Okay? If there were no benefit, do we need it? No. First of all, is sodium. Sodium is a mineral in our body system that we all need. Okay, if you do not have enough sodium in your body system, you will not. There are a lot of. There's going to be a lot of disorder in our body system. Okay, we also need calcium in our body system. So there is so much benefit with salt, but you can only get this benefit if you take the daily required quantity. If the quantity you take on daily basis is much more than required, instead of getting the benefit, you will rather get the dangers of excess salt. So you must insist in taking the required daily intake. I've told you is 1 teaspoon. Okay, when you put your food, okay, how will you distribute this teaspoon? If you eat rice in the morning or eat soup in the morning, eat other food, well, that is the more reason we should take 50% cooked food and 50% raw food. Because if you eat raw food, there will be no need to add salt to it. It is only the cooked food you are going to take small quantity of salt added to it. But if you take cooked food in the morning, cook food in the afternoon, cook food in the evening, the tendency is there that you have taken much more than is needed. The salt that is excess in our body as a daily intake. So you need to regulate the intake of salt in your body system so you can get the benefit. Okay, it's talking about what to eat to improve on eyesight. Eyesight has become a major problem in our health challenges. There are so many things that could affect the eye. There's one known as glaucoma. Another one is, age-related macular degeneration. There's another one known as cataract. All of these are a problem with the eye. But there's something I want us to know. If you have high blood pressure and have been on drugs over time, and you also have diabetes, you have been on drugs over time, it's likely going to affect your eye. Because high blood pressure or diabetes are cardiovascular problems. Anything that affects the eye affects your ears. Sorry, anything that affects your heart affects both your eyes and your ears. So you need to see how you can address the heart disease first. And that is why I make a call here. I said, if you've been on drugs over time and it looks like your problem is still there, you can embark on what we call medical nutrition therapy. That's where we can help you out. You just need to come to us. We take you by the hand and then take you into the world of food. And then before long, you drop the drugs. Before long, your BP comes to normal. Before long, your sugar comes to normal. And then gradually you see your eyes return. As an example, several years ago, I used to use glasses. I wasn't even as old as this. I was much younger. Then I was in my early 40s. But today, no more glasses. I can read the smallest print. My eyes are becoming better as the days go by. That is to say, certain food you eat can positively affect your eyes. Certain food you eat can negatively affect your eye. You can eat for your eye, you can exercise for your eye, you can drink water for your eye. There are so many things you eat that affect your eye, but as long as we're not willing to change our diet, many things in our body system will be affected. As simple as that. All right. It's talking about numbness. Okay. Numbness can be as a result of many factors. Number one, if one has had high blood pressure. I see each time I talk about BP, I talk about diabetes. And then number two, if one, age can also be a factor. You see, whenever you, at your old age, you are suffering from what we call poor metabolic syndrome. Poor metabolic syndrome is a situation where the food no longer digests properly. Okay? And then when there is no proper digestion of your food, it means it could be traced to poor oxygenation. So whenever somebody has numbness, the person's system does not oxygenate properly. What is oxygenation? That is, oxygen does not flow through the entire system. And whenever there is no oxygen flowing through the entire system, or if the blood is not circulating through the entire system, you are likely going to have numbness. I can assure you of that. So what do? Is to go for something that can help you. Fruit and vegetables can help you oxygenate the system. Exercise can help you oxygenate the system. And then you also look for a way, if you are on drugs, to reduce the intake of the drugs. But I tell you, don't drop the drugs if there is nothing alternative that you are doing that can help you. I have always warned, don't ever drop the drugs, except you are doing something alternative that you are sure, or like you came to us now, we say, okay, we'll follow you. Before long, we'll tell you this is the time to keep the drugs, and then you drop it. But don't drop the drugs. Okay, oil is also another thing that we have to look at. Yes, because I know a number of persons use oil as they like. Some people even pour oil like water in their food because we have it in abundance here in Akwa Ibom. Even though it's expensive now, there are people who produce oil by themselves, so they eat it as they want. Why are they eating it much more than the required daily intake? Is because they do not know the measure they need on daily basis. Okay? And that they feel that it's good for them to eat enough oil when they put, especially this erikankong soup or afang soup or vegetable soup. If they do not see the oil really manifest, changing the color of the soup, man, for them there is no oil in that soup. That is much more than enough. So excess oil in the system can also cause a lot of problems in our body system. We need a required quantity of oil, even though oil is very, very healthy for our body system, because it is the oil that helps to produce cholesterol in our body system. And remember, we have the bad cholesterol and the low, and then the good cholesterol. The bad one is known as the low density lipoprotein, and then the good one is known as the high density lipoprotein. And then there are certain ways you can process your oil. When you eat, it will now result in low density lipoprotein, causing, clogging your arteries, your heart, your blood vessels, and then resulting in high blood pressure as well. So what you need to do is, if you put oil in your food, number one, I've told people not to fry their oil. Don't fry it. Maybe in the fried rice, no. You fry like people eat akara, no. Like people eat dodo, that is plantain, no. They want to fry the egg, no. Can cook your egg. Fry yam, no. Anything fry, because that change the texture of the oil. Anything subjected to termite fire can negatively impact on your health. So because of time, I'm not going to dwell much on oil. When I come back next time, I'm going to talk more about oil, but reduce your oil to a smaller quantity. You know what I advise people who take too much oil? I tell them to go for turmeric, gold colored turmeric. I know we have white turmeric. We have the other one, adanunen. That is thing that you can add to your soup, add to your rice, that can change the color, so that when you add small quantity of oil, you'll be happy that there is oil in that food. Abi, it's economical. Hey, Kevin is loving me here. All right, let's take one or two questions before we draw a curtain. For what to eat for prostate, prostate is something that, but be sure, go for test. There's a test known as prostate specific antigen, PSA. They will do the test to know the status of your prostate. It is important to do that one first. When you've done that one, you know the status of your prostate. Then that will help you, give you an idea. And then you begin to do something. One of the things I advise, go for bitter tea. You can get your bitter tea from soursop leaf, avocado pear leaf. Perhaps you may add small bitter leaf there. And then guava leaf. Take note, soursop leaf. Don't call me and ask this again. Oh. If you call me and ask this, I won't answer you. Soursop leaf, avocado pear leaf, bitter leaf, and perhaps guava leaf. Drink that every morning. Don't add anything to it. Just drink it raw like that. Okay? And then also go for fresh tomato. Always add fresh don't cook it. Eat it fresh on a regular basis. And onions. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Oh, whether stress causes hypertension. Okay, hypertension, can be borne by so many factors, including stress. But I do not know what you call stress because for me, when somebody walk, see what I call stress. I wish I have time to be able to explain this. Stress is not just when you walk. Like today, I've been walking, going here and there. I'm not stressed because I know that once I go back home now, I have sleep. But stress is when you are doing what you are doing in a state of bitterness, anger, worry your heart, as if somebody is forcing you to do it. That alone can raise your blood pressure. Okay? So, number two is do not subject yourself to a state of anger. Anger can raise your blood pressure and so on. So, maybe next time I'll take time to explain to you what stress is all about. I've talked about that in the past. So, I want to say, please, thank you very much for all that have listened to us today. Take time to follow this protocol we have advised you. We want you to live a healthy life. Then those you cannot do by yourself, come to us. We're going to help you, even though it's going to cost you small money. But pay the price to get yourself back on wheel so that you'll be able to overcome the unforeseen circumstances. Thank you very much.
All right. That's where we end today on today's edition.